first heard about the minimalism, I thought minimalism is living with the less things, uh, getting rid of extra things and not eating meats and meditating and not owning a car, not having a career, not owning a car and all this stuff. But when I dig down, and also I thought to myself, like, minimalism means living in a tiny house with a white wall on it, and having one table, a few t-shirts. But most people refer to, what comes to your mind when you first heard about the term minimalism? You probably think in the same way, but when I dig deeper, minimalism is far more than living with less things. Many people tell you that minimalism is living with less things, decluttering your home, or getting rid of all the extra materials that you have. But minimalism is, you value yourself more than you value material things. When you look at the outside the world, especially in the modern world, we are so attracted to material things. People literally value yourself by how much you have, how much you're worth, right? And they look at all the internal things that you have accumulated so far, instead of looking at your inner qualities, right? So when you are true minimalist, you literally own essential things. But doesn't mean that you can't own a car. Obviously you can own a car and you can make money. It's not about distancing yourself completely, right? But it's about buying essential things that you truly need. Most of the time in our life we buy several things and we no longer use them after buying it. When you are true minimalist, you buy essential things, right? And when you go to the market or mall, you see 40% off, 50% off, 80% off. You buy several things, but you no longer use them, right? And in the modern world, we are encouraged to use all these things through the addiction, right? And we have sort of addiction. You look at the world, the modern society, that they have sold us this idea: if you don't have this, if you don't have that, you don't have respect, or your self-identity is going to diminish and you're not going to have respect. You have to own this item. You work hard, and very often they would say you work hard and you deserve to have this meal, right? Go to the mall and buy something. Now that's a big illusion about our life. We are brought into this idea of a great illusion of owning and more and more and more. When you talk about minimalism, or when you think about minimalism, Lord Buddha comes to mind. Buddhism is the true minimalism, right? Not the modern days, that the kind of Buddhism you see, but when you go deep into the spirit, you'll understand that Lord Buddha has distanced so many things. Talk about detachment. By truly realizing, by letting go of the things that we cannot control in order to be happy and contained, right? I think detachment, when it comes to detachment, people think like detachment means you don't own anything, but that's just the opposite. Detachment is, the true definition of detachment is, doesn't mean that you don't own anything, but detachment is nothing owns you. There's a big difference when you describe it. When you detach from the rest of the world, you can't own anything, but that's not true. When you think about detachment is nothing owns you. Doesn't mean that you don't own anything. Nothing owns you. There's a big difference. Also, Buddhism is through minimalism, and these legends, ancient people, they knew that for 2,500 years. They live harmony with the nature, love nature, they love animals. But when you look at the modern world, We have 7 billion people. Statistic shows that we kill 70 billion animals for the sake of food. Kill 70 billion animals for the sake of food. That is huge, right? When you think about the Buddhist philosophy, you need to sort of radiate love and compassion. Through the minimalism, you seek freedom, right? You free from the thoughts. You no longer hold yourself into sort of a grudge, or no longer hold any kind of resentment in your heart. You do the meditation, you own less things. Basically, through minimalism means that you live your life happily. You obtain a freedom. Right? Most of us, we are literally get trapped into some sort of idea that society have sold to us. But when you truly understand the minimalism, you literally live your life in your own terms. You no longer let media control your life. You no longer let somebody else control your life, and you take fully control, and you take the responsibility as well. So it's sort of a practicing of minimalism, getting rid of the things, and also not buying extra things, carrying only essential things. It literally make myself really happy, make me realize that it is one of the best things that I did so far, and I want to share my story. I want to share the story. It might help you as well in order to achieve freedom. Free from. Sometimes it's very light when you let go of the positions, and when you let go of the things that you no longer have control. It's feel very light and tranquil. When I was a kid, I remember growing up in a province. I remember being poor. When you grow up with the losers, or when you experience poverty, you will be seeking wealth all your life, right? And one of the thing that I miss growing up, I was privileged to grow up in a mountain province, but one of the things that I had in my life is to be able to connect with the nature, and start my day by looking at these massive trees, listening to the sound of the birds, or climbing a mountain when I'm sort of bored, or truly having freedom of movement with the nature. That was one of the things that I took for granted. But yet I was like thinking of accumulating a lot of money, then I'll be able to be. Jim Carrey said it really well. He said, I wish everybody should become rich and wealthy to realize that not the case for the happiness. That's not the reason to be happy. When Jim Carrey say that, obviously he's a wealthy man, but he has a lot of money. But when he said that, obviously true. Begin to study about the Buddhist philosophy, minimalism, and distancing ourselves from the things that really hindering us, adding value to our life, prioritizing ourselves, giving meanings to our life, and realizing our temporary existence and make the most of it. Begin to study and continue to studying about the Buddhist philosophy. And Buddhism is true minimalism. We are wired to acquire more. We are wired to accumulate more. We are trained to aim high. Those are all good things. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong of being the best. Nothing wrong of being the best and going beyond your abilities. The whole purpose of life is growth. Otherwise, what's the point of living? We all are trying to enhance our life, but but pretty often we are buying into this idea of wanting more and more and more, deceiving ourselves when you see these advertisements and all this stuff.